Guys, we finally have the theme and name of Fortnite Season 4. This was leaked a couple of days ago, and I don't think these were supposed to go out this early, but Fortnite Season 4 is going to be called Paradise, and we see the gooey metallic substance that we saw in the first teaser with the hand coming out. There was also these commercials slash trailers, like real life commercials trailers where things were just randomly turning into the chrome substance. It probably has something to do with the villain that we saw in the Season 3 trailer. Season 4 is an extremely pivotal moment in Fortnite history, which is why today I really need to talk about everything Epic needs to do to make or break Season 4. The biggest things that always impact a new season's gameplay is going to be the weapon meta. Some of these are a bit controversial, so let me know in the comments down below what you think. The pump probably shouldn't come back. The days of hitting 200 pumps are most likely behind us. With the addition of zero build, now players have a base health of 250 in zero build. So to have a one pump that only works in build mode, there's a bit of a disconnect there. And at the end of the day, while it's satisfying, it's something that we can do without. Between the striker and the pump, I do like the aesthetic and the look and the sound of the pump. So if the pump does come back and it just replaces the striker, it's just going to be a visual change. Speaking of the shotgun meta, it's actually pretty good right now. You have the striker dominating in build mode, and you have the auto shotgun reigning supreme in zero build. But honestly, you could use the striker or the auto, and to an extent, the two-shot shotgun after some improvements is not terrible. I still hate it though. The prime is actually a pretty decent addition. If you use it in a certain way, it's very powerful, and it's one of those items where I actually enjoy that it has a unique element of doing a lot more damage on the first shot. One of the biggest wins of this season in particular is that there's not a single weapon that's extremely too powerful. They did a great job balancing the assault rifles. I actually don't mind picking up a combat AR or even the hammer assault rifle, and on occasion the DMR can still hit some pretty decent damage. But they did throw in a couple extra weapons that I think just don't belong. In my opinion, the charge SMG is on the top of that list. So what should they do in Season 4 to make things better? What can they improve upon? You take out the charge SMG completely, maybe even the two-shot shotgun, and you just keep the current loot pool but add a little bit more to it, a little bit more spice, or for them to create new weapons and introduce it into the game. Another thing is that the exotics have stopped being updated. Like, we had exotics that were releasing regularly in Chapter 2, and now we just recycle exotics, but people are kind of over them, and the current ones that exist in the game most of the time is not even worth buying. I think there's a lot of untapped potential with new exotics that can come to the game to actually add a twist and have unique elements and properties to make the gameplay more fun. And that's really my main point. I would like more fun weapons in Season 4, more unique weapons that work differently, that have unique traits and properties, but not things that are going to be too powerful that disturb the current flow of the game. If there's anything that I'm slightly worried about, it's got to be the Hulkbuster, because this thing could be problematic. The last time we had mechs in the game in Chapter 1, it was almost the end of Fortnite. So many players and streamers quit the game, but I feel like Epic has learned a lot, and we've seen it when the mechs return in Chapter 2. Now, this thing is new, and it is potentially a collab, Iron Man, Marvel item, and they usually like to make those a little bit more powerful. I feel like it's more going to be a mobility device and kind of defensive tool, as long as it's manageable and as long as there's counters like boogie bombs or ways to disable it or take out the driver. It can be a very fun addition to the game. Now, this season's mobility actually felt pretty good, but of course, more mobility can always be better. Now, for Season 4, we kind of know that Gwen from the Spider-Verse is coming back to the game, which might also include Miles Morales in the item shop, which means the Spider-Man mythics are back on the table as something that they could return to the game. Now, I would like to see them return, but not just a recycled version, maybe a new version that has different powers, but still has that swinging mechanic that we know and love. We do have the grappler gloves this season, and they're cool, but they're not that cool. And some of you really love the Spider-Man mythics, but some of you hated them. I personally love them. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought about them. Where are the launch pads? These things are iconic, and I feel like they honestly should still be in the game, including zero build. I know there was a bug with them, but they've been gone for a while. We know that motorcycles are leaked to be coming next season, and I honestly thought they were coming this season, and this season's mobility was pretty good, but really only in zero build and build mode, but not in arena, and I'll talk about that later. One of my favorite things they did this season was bring back the Season 9 slipstream meta, and I would honestly like to see more slipstreams around the map. Which brings me to the sponsor of today's video. PUMA sent me their brand new PUMA slipstreams. So these were born in the 80s as a classic basketball silhouette, and then they made a comeback in the early 2000s as Japanese streetwear, but now they are reinvented without compromising its roots. They're super comfortable, they're easy to style with my attire, and as someone who doesn't have all the clothes and shoes in the world, I like something that's simple, something that's slick. I mean, I'm rocking just some metal umbrella joggers with these, and they pop out. It's really not difficult to make them fit into your wardrobe. Feels super comfy, and honestly, it's got me feeling a little bit taller too. I'm not gonna lie, I might be 6'6" with these on. Super excited about these, and I'm glad they had size 14 shoes for me. So if you guys want to check out the PUMA SLIPSTREAMS, go to puma.com or click on the link in the description down below. Thank you so much, PUMA, for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to the action. Now, for this season's updates, it honestly got off to a pretty slow start. There was a lot of content right in the beginning with a huge new biome, but after that, it was just kind of okay. The Saw Blade was a good addition, but didn't really change things too much. Darth Vader came out in the same update, and his mythic lightsaber just felt short. The POIs changing around the map was kind of cool, but was it really enough? Because those recycled POIs felt like something we've seen before. The Indiana Jones Temple update was actually decent. The summer update was a little bit underwhelming compared to previous updates, and of course we're a little bit spoiled with that, and things were starting to get really dry. But then the Dragon Ball update completely redeemed it. We got some Dragon Ball skins, 2 new mythics, people came back like crazy, all the memes and videos got posted. Shortly after, they brought back Late Game Arena, which I think was a big win, and Late Game Arena feels different because it was actually made on Creative Royale, which is why next season is going to be really important, and I'll get to that in a second. Speaking of Dragon Ball, we need to talk about the collabs. Some people are saying that collabs are like killing the soul of Fortnite, and can you have too many collabs? I feel like these collabs are extremely special. The Dragon Ball update was probably my favorite update of season 3, and I don't even really watch Dragon Ball, but it brought so many good things into the game. And the reality is the collabs are not for everyone, but for some people it means everything. For me personally, when Naruto got added to the game, that was a very special moment. I was extremely happy, but these collabs do bring in communities outside of Fortnite and brings that attention back to the game, which it really did with Dragon Ball. And for season 4, I would like to see this continue. I mean, Attack on Titan would be crazy if there was like a mythic that turned you into a Titan, maybe even Transformers using the vehicles. We need to embrace it, that Fortnite is trying to be as inclusive as possible to have every IP and character in the game. Now let's talk about the storyline. For me, it was probably one of the weaker parts of the season. I personally don't do all the quests, and I kind of just try to keep up with what's going on. In this season, POIs were changing. Was this a good thing? Was this a bad thing? I guess we weren't really supposed to know if the reality tree is good or not, and we're gonna find out in season 4. But the whole time, I just felt like not as invested in what was going on. As someone who plays every single day, I have really no idea what went down this season. I feel like it's a little bit more fun when the story is easy to follow in the gameplay, and someone who is like not necessarily super diving into the story still has somewhat of idea as to what's happening. Like, for example, Galactus flying at us in season 4 chapter 2. Everyone knew Galactus was on his way. For this season, I don't feel like people are as invested because we really don't necessarily know what's going down. Now, here's the big thing everyone is sleeping on: Creative Royale. If this is what I think it is, this will be a huge step towards Creative 2.0. If you guys didn't know, Fortnite Late Game Arena is actually made in Creative Royale, which is like a creative mode that allows you to build out maps and game modes on the current Fortnite map. Now, imagine if they gave that tool to everyone out there who's watching, and now you have the ability to create your own game modes on the current Fortnite map. Imagine having 50 to 100 player creative matches using Creative Royale. You can do hide and seeks, fashion shows, 50 versus 50 wars. There's so much content and so many things you can do with this. It's really just the beginning as we move closer and closer towards Creative 2.0. But there's a good chance that this could come out in season 4 because we are approaching the end of the year. And if Creative Royale is the first thing we get, it's going to be crazy. I can definitely see a future where the Battle Royale is less popular than the creative modes that people create. So let's talk about competitive tournaments. Now, I have been a fan of of the zero build tournaments, and I love how they kept improving. We had things like portaforts and now bubble shields and junk rifts. There's still a skill gap and a skill ceiling where people can come into the game and still compete in zero build as new players, as long as they have some sort of competitive experience or they know how to use positioning. But build mode became so cut off from the casual players that only real dedicated builders play build tournaments. And the thing about build mode is, because it became so serious, a lot of the fun items and mobility items got removed from arena. But I feel like if you want to get more people into the build competitive scene, there needs to be a little more excitement, a little bit more energy, and also something to play for, because right now arena still is just kind of like a very casual competitive mode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to be covering all the season 4 content as soon as it's out.